Hello and welcome to Marineford TCG, and today we've got my first market watch for the channel. So these are pretty popular on YouTube. I've seen a lot of people doing them, but I think I've got a little bit of a different spin we can do on it. I'm not going to be looking over all cards. I am going to be publishing a video very soon going over PRB and what's in there. As a heads up, I would look at the set list for PRB yourself. You're welcome to wait for my video too, that would be cool. But before making any purchases, check out what is being reprinted. Do not buy cards that are being reprinted. Unless, if you've got a tournament next week, it is what it is. But if you can wait just one more week till PRB is released in America, one more week for Europe, I believe 2 more weeks for the UK because we got a delay. Correct me if I'm wrong on any delays in America or Europe, but I don't believe there are delays there. But regardless, anything that's in PRB, I would not recommend buying at all, unless you absolutely need to for a tournament. And also, get this out of the way, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an expert. I'm not a stock trader. I'm just looking at cards, and I'm looking at decks, looking at reports in Japan, and just speculating. Don't take anything I take as financial advice or gospel. I've been wrong. I've bought cards in other games, in Pokemon. Amazing rares are a great example. If you guys know Pokemon and you know what amazing rares are, I thought those guys were going to be awesome. I bought quite a lot just to put in the binder, have a nice collection going on. The prices are in the bin now. So I have been wrong, but looking at One Piece, I think broadly my opinions are pretty good. And the way we're going to do this, we've got a few different sections. First, I've picked out some of the top movers from October. Not all, I'm sure I missed some cards. It's impossible to go over all the cards and not have a video take 5 hours. But I've picked out some of my picks for the biggest movers from October and my thoughts on those prices. Next, I'm going to have a browse of what people are buying on TCG Player. We're going to filter by the most popular purchases, and we'll see what we think about the prices. Then I've got a few recommendations, not too many, because I think giving lots of recommendations is foolish, because I think it's better to focus on a couple of cards that you're more confident in are going to rise in price, not necessarily in November, but maybe in December. And at the end of the video, excuse me, I'm still recovering from a cold a bit. I've got something different. I'm going to go over every card that I've purchased this month for One Piece. I'm not including the Pokemon cards because that's not interesting. Some of the purchases are not interesting. I do collect alternate art leaders, so some of them are just alt leaders from my collection. These are not cards I think are cheap or expensive or anything. But I think if I'm transparent on what I am buying, I can show you the things that I've hit good on, the things that I've whiffed on, and I think I could show that I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm of course not going to be showing you the exact prices and the order details because then that would dox my address, but I made a nice little PowerPoint with the cards I've bought and the prices I've bought for them. And without any further ado, let's get into the next section. Just a quick addendum to add here. In this video, I'm not covering the starter decks or the starter deck cards. These have just come out. There's not been enough time for them to settle on the market. If you want to know the price, just look them up. That's the price. The price hasn't changed that much since the decks came out. Was it like 1 week ago? There's a good chance that you already have these or that you can get them from your LGS. I have seen some pretty scummy LGSs online. So apologies if you're affected by one of those. It's in dust stores selling these for like $20, $30, $40, which is disgusting. If your LGS is selling above retail, I feel really bad for you. That's not cool. My LGS, I'm pretty fortunate. My LGS is run by one guy who runs it on his own, and he was able to sell the decks to us for around 15 to 20% under RRP, which was really nice. But if the Bandai stores are anywhere near you, try to go there. They have the decks, and they're selling them at retail. Check your big box stores, your Target, your Walmart, so on. I've heard Barnes & Noble's been pretty good in the States. Mainland Europe, obviously, you guys don't have these yet necessarily because of some supplier delays. But yeah, that's why I'm not going over the starter decks, because people are still getting their hands on them. There's still lots of copies of these out in the wild sealed, and I just don't think it's worth coloring cards that have been out for like 1 to 2 weeks. It seems pointless to me. But anyway, just thought I'd put that there before I get 100 comments saying, where are the starter decks? Where are the starter decks? They're not there because they're brand new, and you can just get them from your big box store or your LGS. Thank you. Okay, first up for the quick review part of the Market Watch. Some moves and shakers. So, this guy, Laboon, EB, tell me if you've heard this before. It says pretty good. People are paying through the nose for every single card in the set. And Laboon is the most recent victim of price rises, especially in the States. So, I mean, you could see this fucking $11 is wild. I was not even, like, good yet. You've seen playing a couple black decks here and there. Things like the Black Luffy leader are playing him. I've seen it in some Lucci lists and some Smoker lists, but mostly Luffy. But what this is Blackbeard. This is a staple card in Blackbeard. I'm pretty sure it's staple at 4, but you'd want at least 3. This card's just one of the best cards you can play in Blackbeard, and that's why people are buying it out. So look at this chart. This is wild. If you bought this just, like, was this 2 months ago? Like $2. Now, 11. This is ridiculous. And the more ridiculous one is this alt. $50? This is ridiculous. Who's paying this? What kind of insane people are paying this price? Like, this card's beautiful. This is one of my favorite alt arts. I packed one from EB when I got my box, and if it was this price in Europe, I would be selling it immediately because this is ridiculous. This is not a $50 card. This is wild. Yeah, I would not advise picking up this art, definitely. If you want to play Blackbeard, I feel like this is incredibly overpriced, but you know, we've seen what these EB cards do. We've seen Cavendish be $20. Brook is like $20 now. Flampe is a rare that's like $5. It's ridiculous. This set, I don't know why the prices are so high. My theory on it is people don't want to open the set particularly because the hits are all kind of dog shit. A guaranteed leader or Bonclay. If you get Bonclay, you're laughing. You get a leader, your box is pretty bad, and there's also still a lot of bad hits in these. But as time is going on, more and more of these SRs in this set are just becoming playable. Like, when we looked at this set, we looked at Laboon, we're like, that's an okay card, that could be good in the future. And here we are, now it is. And the same with Brook. When Brook came out, people were reasonably high on Brook, but not to the level where it was. I pulled a Brook on like the first week. I had it listed on Card Market for about $8 for the longest time. Nobody bought it. I took it down. Prices dropped to like $5, $6. And I considered putting it back up to get rid of it because I didn't think it was going to be that important for my black deck. Here we are. I'm glad I kept it because the prices are wild. But anyway, Laboon, I don't know. If you want to play Blackbeard, you might have to consider these. If you're in Europe, you've got a lot better because look at these prices. £3-4. For reference, pounds to dollars is about like 1.3, 1.4 at the minute. So these 4.32s are about $5, slightly over $5. I think for Europeans, if you're planning on playing Blackbeard, I think now is the last time to get this card at some semblance of a reasonable price. For Americans, I feel sorry for you. I don't know what to say. I feel like this card might just go up further. You might have to bite the bullet, but yeah, avoid this alt art. This price is insane. This is insane. Let's get rid of Laboon. Next up, we've got Edward Weevil. So this guy, if you look at the chart, he's been on a steady climb. I don't know why people weren't picking these up at $2. This was always a good card in Doflamingo since this came out. Even when Doffy was a bit mid, this was like a staple for one of the best targets for your leader effect or for Jinbei. I don't know why people didn't just pick this up at $2. This was a good price. Now it's $5. Congratulations, you played yourself. This was always going to be a $4 or $5 card. We've seen Kin Killer get to that price when the red decks were popping off with RP Law, and Flamp is still at that price because of mainly of BY Luffy, but it's also a staple in decks like NL. Yeah, Weevil was always going to go to this price. You didn't pick it up at $2. You're a fool. I'm sorry, you're just a fool. You're picking this up at 5. I feel really bad for you because I don't see this going down anytime soon. We don't seem to be due for a big EB01 reprint. And Doflamingo looks to be the best deck in 8.5, maybe second. It's going to be the best deck in set 9. And so far, the set 10 leaders, I mean, some of them seem pretty good, but I don't think they're going to be dethroning Doflamingo. I think he's going to be the best deck for at least a couple sets here. If you're planning on playing Dofi at any point, it's tough. That's tough. In Europe, we'll go to that. You're in Europe. Pick this shit up now. Pick this up now. This is £1, £2. This is crazy. Get this card now if you're in Europe. Because these prices, I mean, there's a lot of them listed, but I don't know. If this goes crazy like it has done in the States, you're going to be sitting there twiddling your thumbs thinking, damn, why didn't I just spend $5 on 4 of these? But yeah, that's Weevil. We know people are buying Weevil. Next up, I've got Silvers Riley. This hasn't got as crazy a graph. He was cheap on pre-release, ironically. And then he's been about $20, $25 ever since. People are buying this card for Shanks. Like, this card's okay in Marco, but Marco's not really a competitive deck at the minute. But if you want to play Shanks, especially the control build of Shanks, which does seem to be the more popular build currently, you're going to want Rayleighs. You're going to want 4 Rayleighs. And I think you might need to get them relatively soon. I bought my Rayleighs recently. The price is not too similar to this, and I'm not regretting it because if Shanks becomes more popular in the West, then this could be the next Katakuri. We saw what Katakuri did. That secret was like $80. In Europe, it got up to around 40, 50 pounds, euros. So yeah, if you want to play Shanks, I would strongly consider getting these. I don't think it's one of those cards that you've got to go out and buy immediately, but I think this is one to strongly consider. And the prices in Europe, for reference, are pretty similar. There's a couple less than £20, but mostly these are like £20, £21, and that's basically the same as the American price. So no crazy deals here for Europeans, but you know, I would still consider picking this up, especially if you're like in Spain or you can get cheap shipping from Spain. This guy with 3, that's pretty good because you can save on the shipping. Next up, we've got Jinbei. What's to say? $12. That is wild. $12 for an SR. That's insane. And if we take a look at the alt, he's 33. This hasn't actually moved that much, I will say, compared to the standard. So if you're like an alt, if you enjoy alts and you've got the money, I'd pick up the alt rather than the standard, because this hasn't risen yet. And this price is fucking ridiculous. £12 for an SR. When Moria came out on release, and Moria was crazy, I think I only ever saw this get up to about $10, and this is wild. Reference in Europe, it's about £6, so that's around $7. If you're in Europe, I would strongly consider picking these up now if you're playing Doflamingo, just because you never know what's going to happen to this card. This could go even crazier, like we've seen in America. And the alt in Europe is around £17, so about $20. If you're in Europe, you've not got it too bad on this Jinbei, but the Americans watching, damn, I feel really bad for you, bro. This price has gone crazy. If you didn't pick it up here at like $3, $4, even $5, I think you just fumbled a bit there. I think this was pretty obvious that Dofi was going to be maybe not the best deck, but a top deck, looking at Japanese results. And that's why it's really important to keep your eye on the Japanese meta. Because if you keep an eye on the Japanese format, you would know Doflamingo is likely to be the best deck. And I mean, this at $2-3 was a steal. If you bought 4 of these now, or 4 of these then, that's the same price as 1 now. Yeah, this game is kind of weird. You've really got to keep on top of the price trends. In other games I've played, this isn't so much the case, but in One Piece, it seems very important to pick up on the price trends, especially if you're in America. But that's Jinbei. We've had a look at him. We'll get rid of him. Next up is this card's wild. So this is the alt. I'm gonna pull up the regular in a minute. How is this $100? This is crazy. This is not a $100 card. I know this is a good card. I know it has Nami, but like, come on, man. $100? Jesus. For reference, in Europe, this is the regular. I'll pull up the alt real quick. This is £45. That's maybe $55, $60. This is overpriced as fuck. Do not buy this for $100. You are mentally insane if you buy this for $100. This is not a good purchase. But if you do need Bon Clay, we can go and pull up the regular secret rare, which is here. This is still wild. $45 for this is still very expensive. These are all Japanese. Yeah, it's like 45, 45. Pretty consistently 45. And yeah, if we go back to Europe, this is like 25 bucks. Here in Europe, this hasn't gone up that much in the past month or so. I would consider picking this up now if you're planning on playing purple decks, especially purple Luffy and red purple Luffy, because this is very staple in those decks. You're going to be playing, certainly in red purple, you're going to be probably playing 4, and set 9 purple Luffy. You probably want at least a couple copies. I don't know if you'd want a full playset, but you know, it's not a bad card. Just copies the power, pretty good. Ramps active, very nice. But yeah, these prices in America are whack. I feel really bad. This is another card that skyrocketed. You bought this a couple months back at 25 bucks, 28 bucks. You're laughing. I don't think this is one I would have necessarily bought at $25, but I would have been hard punished by going up to 45. And in Europe, yeah, it's not moved that much. And if we go on the alts, I don't think this has moved that much at all. No, but back a month ago, this was 30 euros. Now it's 45. So I guess it has moved quite a bit, actually. I guess it has moved quite a bit. So yeah, that's the alt, Mr. 2. If you don't mind the slight damage, this one for £40 is pretty good. Moving on from him, this is Brook. What the fuck's going on with the EB prices in America, man? Did you guys get like hugely short supply of EB? These prices are crazy everywhere. But in the States, man, this is ridiculous. $30 for an SR. I can't remember the last time I saw $30 for an SR. I've only been playing since set 5. But like, Sarbo's been about $20 for that entire time. This is wild. People are buying them. People are buying 43 of these. 100. This is crazy. I don't buy these Japanese ones, obviously. And yeah, this is pretty consistently $30. Nah, not for me. In Europe, yep, this is this is like a $15 card. This is still expensive, don't get me wrong, but it's nowhere near as crazy as this. If you're in Europe and you don't have Brooks, could be an okay time to pick them up. I haven't seen this move much at all in Europe. This has been like £10 for the longest time. But yeah, I mean, what the fuck? Let's look at the alt art. This is 41. This hasn't moved very much. This has been about $40 for a while now. I would, if you're buying Brooks in America, I would 100% be picking up the alt art, because this is like $10 more, and it's an alt art. It looks miles better. You got lovely texturing, and it's way more likely to hold its value if there's a reprint. We can take a look at the alt art in Europe as well. Yeah, it's about £20, maybe $25 if you convert it. So a lot cheaper. Not as crazy difference, but this has got me fucked up, man. $30 for a 1 SR Brook? Jesus Christ. Let's move on. Next up, we've got Magellan. Why is this $14? This card's not even a must-play in Purple Luffy. Certainly next set, people, I don't think most lists are not playing it in Purple Luffy. $14 fucking dollars, bro. What's going on? What is going on in the States? Do y'all have just like shitloads of market manipulators or something? If you look at this in Europe, like four, £5. This has gone up quite a bit, actually, I will say. In the past month, this has gone from 3 to about 5. But even so, this is less than half the price, nearly a third of the price. Especially if you're in the UK. These ones are all in the UK. You can pick up 2 off this guy for $5 each. You can pick these ones up for £3.50 each. It's crazy. This is crazy. This card is notably not getting reprinted in PRB, which is one thing to note. I'm actually interested in seeing what the alt is doing, if that's moving at all. Where is it? Here it is. No, so this is not moved at all. Why would you pick up the regular for 13 when you could pick up the alt for 20? That's ridiculous. Let's take a look at the alt here. In Europe, we've got... You could pick up the alt in Europe for less than the regular in America. That is wild, bro. Yeah, this guy's got 2 alts, £10 each. That's like $12, $13. What's going on, man? What is going on in America? I feel so bad for you guys. Next up, we got Perona. I think this was one that was quite likely to go up. OPO1 is like the one set that's really tricky to get your hands on now. I live quite near to one of the Bandai official stores in the UK, and they've got like every set. They've even got EB, but they don't have OPO1. There is no OPO1 there. You can't buy this set for love nor money at retail price anyway. So I think even though this is an uncommon, this going up to $3 wasn't unforeseeable. This is like a staple in Dofi. Not all lists are playing it, but the vast majority are playing it. I'm currently playing it at 3 of, which I think is fine, but most lists are probably on 4. You need this card for Dofi, really. It feels bad paying $3 plus shipping for an uncommon, but you know, here we are. And in Europe, this is about £2, so this isn't too dissimilar. This is pretty similar in both the States and the Europe. I'm going to check out the price of this box topper. This is pretty decent in Europe. $12 even. Let's check out the box topper Perona in America. Where is it? Jesus Christ. $30? This is like 15. 30. Wow, this has been on a steady increase for the past couple of months as well. Yeah, I picked up mine a couple months back. It was pretty clear that Doflamingo was going to be good, so I picked up 3 of these. Yeah, no, this is wild. Do not pay $31 for this altar unless, I don't know, you're fucking Bill Gates. But if you want to play Dofi, you might have to pick up the uncommon. There's no OPO1 reprint coming anytime soon. This is not in PRB. So yeah, there's a bit of a hard luck on the Perona here. I actually want to take a look at the Dofi leader, just off the dome. Yeah, $300. This is, I mean, this is really expensive, but it's not unsurprising given this is an OPO1 altar and the best deck in the game. Cool. So that's it for the main part of this. Now I'm just going to sort of browse and talk. We're going to look over what people are buying. So this feature on TCG Player, I don't think we have something. We do have a similar on Card Market. Maybe we'll pull that up after and have a look, see if it's any different. But I'm just going to go over my thoughts on these cards. We've gone over Jinbei, Bonclay, Silver's Aurelian Brook. Sabo, this has been about this price forever. You need Sabos. Buy them. If you don't, you're not planning on playing blacks, I'd avoid this. There'll be a reprint at some point. This price will go down. This is still really expensive. But yeah, this is a staple in like every black deck. So if you're planning on playing black, you've got to get this. We've got over Weevil. Cavendish, $17. He's dropped a bit. He was up to 21. Now he's down to 17. I think this will drop more. I don't think Bonnie is the strongest deck in set 9. I think it's much better in 8 and 8.5 than it is in 9. I just think some of the new decks have a pretty decent matchup into Bonnie. But if you're planning on playing Bonnie, you could consider this. If not, I'd potentially shift these now. I do see Cavendish dropping off a little bit. Maybe down to $10. Dofi, we've had a look at him. Ace, I think this is a decent pickup. $15 for this Ace. This card's really good. This is staple. We're not getting a reprint of this anytime soon. If you're planning on playing yellow decks, this might be good in the new Kid Leader. This could be good in... This is obviously good in things like Enel. Enel is seeing a bit of a resurgence lately, so you could pick up Ace. People are buying a lot of Katakuris. I think this is griefing. Just wait for PRB to come out. Price will drop even more. And yep, I know this price has come down from just 2 months ago, $50 to $20. I think this is going to be like a $10 secret rare once PRB actually comes out. Because whilst we've had the packs in the starter decks, we haven't had any booster boxes of it. This Chopper, this is overpriced as shit. Nobody's playing Zoro anymore. Not many people are buying this, like 0002. This is really overpriced. Do not buy this. If you've got these, I'd consider selling them. And in fact, I actually did sell mine a couple of weeks back. I got about the equivalent of $12 each, which I was thrilled with. I paid around $3, $4 for mine. Made a nice profit, got to enjoy Zoro for a bit, and shift these before the price falls off a cliff. I don't give a shit about mangas. This Magellan's ridiculous. This Nami's a decent pickup for $4. I do think this is going to be a very staple yellow card. It's sort of like pseudo power creep on Gadatsu. Gadatsu is still good, but the fact this has the trigger KO as well, I think just makes it a little bit better. The Boon, yeah, we've got over that. Gecko Moria, don't buy this. This is in PRB. This will be a $2 SR before you know it. Sanji, you could consider buying this. You could consider picking up these Sanjis. This has not risen much yet, but this is a staple in all of the purple Luffy decks. That's purple Luffy, that's red purple Luffy, that's black purple Luffy. I don't think this will go up too much, but I could see this going to maybe $6, $7, $8 each, just because this is a staple in so many top decks next sets. But if you don't want to, it's not a must do. There's another manga. I think this Zoro is one to leave. Bonnie doesn't seem to be playing this very much anymore. I have seen Lim builds playing with it in set 9, but unless you're planning on playing Lim, I'd potentially leave this Zoro for now. Black Maria, I don't see this seeing a lot of play, I'm not going to lie. I don't see what decks are actually playing this card. It's like a good card. It was insane in lore before lore got banned. But yeah, I don't know what decks are actually playing Black Maria. You can enlighten me in the comments, let me know. This is SP, this is overpriced as shit, don't buy this. You can buy the fucking one drop searcher for like $1 or $2. We've got a Prolo, this is a manga. Also Sanji I think is a decent pickup. There's nothing, excuse me. There's no crazy good leaders playing this at the moment. The best leader that's playing this is Marco, and that doesn't seem to be changing for the next couple sets. But this probably won't get a reprint for quite a while yet. And I do think $10 for this card is okay. This is not a bulk secret rare like some of the others, but I do think $10 for Sanji is not a bad pickup if you wanted to. And let's see what else people are buying. We got Kuzan, don't pick this up. If you pay $9 for this, your brain has rotted out and fallen out of your skull. This is in PRB. Look at the set list. It's not rocket science. If these SRs are in PRB, they're going to be $2 or less before you know it. The PRB has this SR in every pack. Every single pack. Any SR in PRB is going to be cheaper. Do not pay $9 for Kuzan. We've got over Laboon. Jack at 3, I think, is a really good price. If you're planning on playing Jack, I'd definitely pick up a playset of this for $3. I think this is a crazy cheap price. Yeah, this is crazy. I would buy this. It's like a staple in black for, I don't know, for as long as I can think. And yeah, I'd pick up Jack. Linen at 8 feels a little bit expensive. I don't think Big Mom Pirates are going to be very good for the foreseeable. There has been some leaks that set 11 may be a Big Mom Pirates themed set. That's like forever away. Set 10 is still 2.5 months out from Japan, which is 5 months here. Set 11 is not coming out for nearly a year. I think this is really overpriced for what it is. Katakuri's not doing much anymore. Pudding's fine, but honestly, if you want to play Pudding, just like go to bed, go to sleep, and you'll have the exact same experience as you do playing Pudding. The deck is so fucking boring. You do nothing. You do nothing. Don't get these Big Mums. These cards are overpriced for how good it is. Gecko Moria SP, $100 is wild. I've got one of these. I really need to sell it. I picked it up for about $55, $60. Need to sell it ASAP. Rebecca at 5. I'm actually interested to have a look at this one. Yeah, this has been steadily climbing recently. I do think this was very underpriced at the price it was at before. Like $2 for how staple this card is in every black deck except BY. It's pretty wild. And I'm actually interested to see how this is in card market. Let's have a look. Rebecca, OPO5. Yes, this is still like you could get this for like a couple bucks. If you're in Europe, I'd pick up this Rebecca now, sooner than later. Because I don't see this staying this price forever. We're not due another 05 reprint. We had one a little while ago. We're not due another one. And I'm going to have a look at this. I really like this one. Yeah, you can get this for like $20. And the SP, that's the Japanese one, is around $65, $70. That's not too bad. But yeah, if you plan on playing black, I'd pick up this Rebecca. I think this is a quality card. This is not in PRB, and it's just going to be a staple in black until it gets banned. I do think one day this card will get banned. I don't think Moria will get banned. I think Moria is fine, but this Rebecca just makes the most stupid combos imaginable. With Brooke, with Spandine, of course. Like, I've had turns where I've just done Rebecca, Spandine, Lucci, no Moria needed, and it was crazy. But anyway, moving on. Moria alt at 40. There is a new alt in PRB you could pick up. But this one's miles better. If you wanted to pick this up for 40, I don't think it's terrible. 37 for this is fine. We went over the regular. That was like $24. So an extra sort of $13. If you like this art. I know there's a lot of people that don't like this art. If you do, you can pick this up. Queen at 80 is very high in my opinion. But Queen is a staple. It's going to be a staple for the next while, I think. So yeah, Jinbei, Manga. These are we're mostly just getting into alt arts. I guess people are buying Nami again. That's interesting. $10 for Nami. That's pretty expensive, but you know. This Linlin, I do think is a decent buy. This looks to be pretty staple in purple Luffy at least, and I think this is generically a pretty good purple card. I think we could see other purple leaders come out and play this. I don't think any of the set 10 leaders are looking to play this, but it's just a good card. Just a good card. We'll do one more page, and then we'll end this segment of the video. So, yeah, here's Borsalino. Don't buy this. This shit's really overpriced as well. This is in PRB. This will be $2. This Rosinante is an interesting one. So, I think we'll get into it later a bit more. I think this is a pretty good buy. I'm looking at Smoker. Smoker's Navy. Rosinante's Navy. We get a green Navy tap searcher. I mean, the synergy's there, right? Synergy is there. I think this could be a pretty decent buy at $11, $12. Because this isn't getting reprinted in PRB, which is notable. This Luffy leader has shot up. This shit was like $30, $40 for ages. Now 70. Could have bought this if you want to play Luffy. Nothing else here too crazy. Wait, hang on. Why is the fucking zero cost event $4? I gotta check this out in Europe. I gotta check this out. Jet Gatling. Yeah, this is like less than $1. I mean, even this price is kind of crazy, but less than $1 is fine. Fucking $3 plus shipping for a zero cost event. Oh dear, America never change. If you're picking up that Nami, definitely pick up this one actually. This is like $4 more, the art's miles better, and this is only from a promo product. This is never getting reprinted. This Luffy's pretty good for $3. I'd pick this up if you're planning on playing BY or a yellow deck. This Nika will probably drop, but honestly at $7 is not the worst. This is in PRB. I don't think PRB is going to gut secret rare prices as much as it's going to gut SRs. Really, because secrets are still like 1 per box, I think. And SRs are 1 per pack. There's a bit of a difference, obviously. We'll do one more page. That fucking zero cost event's got me gassed. Yeah, got some leaders here. Raging Tiger for $3 is kind of crazy, but it's not that bad. This Luffy leader is very expensive. Don't get me wrong, $200 is a lot of money. But I think this is a decent pickup. Purple Luffy looks to be staying very good and getting even better in set 9. I don't see how set 10 is going to change that currently. Those leaders don't look incredibly impactful. They look good, don't get me wrong, but I think this, where it's a limited product, only a limited number that have been made, is never going to be reissued, you'd assume. I think this is a decent one to pick up if you've got the spare money and feel like making a bit of a gamble. I picked one of these up for a little bit less than this, it must be said, but not too much less than this. But yeah, I think this is a decent buy. This art's beautiful as well. One of the nicest alt-art leaders. This Shanks, people missed the boat on this one. Yeah, this was like $12. This was even cheaper before then. This was like a $5 alt. I picked up mine for around $7. And yeah, now it's 20 because Shanks is coming out next set. Lucci leader is dirt cheap. If you're a Lucci enjoyer, pick this up. $30 for one of the best leaders in the game. It's crazy. The other ones, BY is obviously in a starter deck, so it's slightly different. And Doflamingo is set 1, and it costs about $1 billion. This Law is in PRB. Don't buy this for $5. This is not worth $5. Putting for $1 is fair. I think this is a decent one to buy. We've seen that Raging Tiger is way more, and these are the same rarity. If you're planning on playing Dofi, and you don't have your puddings, I'd get this. This is also just staple in every blue deck. This Kuzan for 5 isn't bad, but it is getting reprinted, so it'll probably go even lower. Sanji Alt for 25 is not too bad. Yeah, this Newgate for 5 is still overpriced. Don't pick this up. Kid down to $4. Man, you love to see that. When I started playing, I started with Green Uta. This was like a $25, $30 card. Seeing this at $5, man, feels fucking good. I'd still wait. This will be probably 2 once this set actually comes out, the PRB. But you know, if you really need them now, $4 is not a bad price by any means. A Smoker leader, this is way fucking overpriced. If you've got a Smoker leader that you're looking to shift, now's a really good time. This leader's not that good. He's like a tier 2 pick, but just play Lucci. Yeah, Smoker's heavily overpriced. I think Enel is a very good pickup at 30, especially for a set 5 leader that's good. He's making a little bit of waves online at the minute. I'd consider picking up Enel if you have $30 spare. Now, what else we got here? This is a starter deck card. I'm not covering the starter deck cards. Yola for 5. This is overpriced. Nobody's playing this anymore. Pudding played it for like a week, and then people realised Pudding was boring and bad. Ace at 5 is decent. Marco's not doing very much. This isn't in PRB. But yeah, Whitebeard leader's not the best right now. Newgate himself is not doing anything. Marco is like a rogue deck. If you wanted to pick up this ace, it's not the worst at 5. But yeah, I think we've gone over quite a lot of cards there. I'm going to stop this segment and we're going to jump into the next one. Okay, the next section is a few of my little tip-offs. Cards that I've got my eye on, cards that I've been picking up. Cards that I think you could consider picking up as well. So first up, I've got this Alt-Art Mr. 1 Dazbones. And again, if you don't want to pick up the Alt-Art, you can pick up the regular one. The regular one is like nothing, a few cents. I think this is seeing a lot of play in Buggy. This is one of the better payoffs for Crocodile in Buggy. And Buggy recently got, was it top 4 in a massive tournament in Japan. So I think the deck really does have legs now that we have the Shu promo that just kind of auto wins Doflamingo if they're not taking for it. So this Mr. 1, I think is it's classic, right? It's EB. Everything in EB goes to $1 million. We've seen it time and time again. We've looked at in this video. We looked at Brook. We've looked at fucking Flampe. We've looked at a whole bunch of EB cards. The Boon that have just gone Garrity, and it's crazy. I think this Mr. 1 is a really good buy at $7 for the alt. If you're planning on playing Buggy, if you're not planning on playing Buggy, you know, it's whatever. Don't buy the card. But if you're planning on playing buggy, and you don't mind paying like $7 for an alt, I think this is a really good chance to pick them up. There's quite a few still, but they're all like ones. There's like one guy with 3. You could pick them up off this guy. That would probably be a good deal. But yeah, I think this is a bit of a winner, and I'm gonna go on here, and we'll have a look on Card Market. Mr. 1, Daz Bones, EB version 2. This is even cheaper in Europe. This is like a $4 or $5 card. So yeah, more 5 than 4. But I would definitely recommend picking this up if you're planning on playing buggy at all. Because I can see this alt going silly. And the regular one as well in Europe, I mean, this is like 2 cents, and this is the same in America. Definitely pick up rare versions. If you'd like to, you could pick up the alt. I think it's a really good price. Next up, we've got Mancherry. I've pulled up the alt art because the rare's like not that expensive. It's gone sort of up, then down, then back up again. This is a tech option in Blackbeard. There's Blackbeard lists that aren't playing it. There's Blackbeard lists that are playing it. Notably, the ones that did well at the most recent event in Japan are not playing it. But it's definitely not a bad card. There are definitely going to be lists that play it. And if you wanted to pick up the alt now for $11, you know, it's pretty reasonable. And in Europe, we can have a look. This card is $5-6. I would definitely consider picking this up at $5 or $6. For 12, you could probably wait. This will probably drop back down a little bit again, but you know, this is a decent one to pick up. I really like this artwork. It's really cute, and it's a pretty good card in Blackbeard. So you could consider picking this one up. Again, OPO 5, no reprint coming anytime soon. Not in PRB. Next up, we've kind of missed the boat on this one already. I already had this for my leader collection, but this Doflamingo has recently gone up to $50, mostly because of the sugar reveals. I don't think $50 is a good price. I think this is one to keep an eye on, because I think when this falls, and it will, look, I mean, you can see there's one day when we got up a whole bunch of reveals, and 37 of these sold. And then since then, it's been 6, 4, 4, 3, 0. This will drop. I think when this drops back to around that $35 mark that it was at before, I think this is a decent pickup. Again, we don't know if the purple cards are going to be very good. We don't know if the purple cards are going to be make this deck particularly strong. But if you're a fan of this deck, if you're a fan of Birdcage, not a bad one. This does have a reasonable matchup into the other Doflamingo because of Birdcage. So yeah, I think this card is pretty good. I would consider picking this up when the price drops, but I wouldn't pay $50. This is overpriced at $50. And we can have a look here. Wrong tab. Not there. Doflamingo. OPO 4. That's the wrong one. Oh, I can't type properly. No, this is good. OPO 4. What we got? Where is he? Here he is. Doflamingo. He's about $40, slightly 45 in Europe. Again, I'd wait for this to go down. This has been steadily going up over the last month. I think once this drops back to about $35, I think this is a pretty good pickup. One that I've bought recently is this Rosinante. Yes, it did go up a couple of months back when people started playing it in Bonnie, but it's dropped off a bit again now. This is back down to $12. And for $12, I think this is a good buy. This is not in PRB. One of the very few secret rares from that era not in PRB. And with the new Smoker leader, I think this will be could be pretty powerful in Smoker. Because you've got obviously the combo where you can play this, play Smoker, restand the Dons, then play the Tashigi to protect your guys, which is pretty powerful. The Rosinante is protecting the Smoker, the Tashigi is protecting the Rosinante. So your opponent can't really interact with your board other than killing Tashigi with an effect. So I do think this is one that I would be buying. You could also buy the alt, I suppose. You can have a look at both. We pull him up. Where is he? Page 2. Oh, there he. I just saw him. There. $23. It's like twice the price. It's got about the same graph. It shot up. Started playing it in Bonnie. This one hasn't dropped yet. This might drop a little bit, but this one's pretty nice. And in Europe, Rosinante is this one. Yeah, he's about the same price in Europe. Slightly more in Europe, in fact. So, you know, you can pick these odds up for £8. That's like $10. It's a really good price. Otherwise, you could hold. This is getting an SP, but I don't think that's going to affect the price at all. Yeah, about $20 for the alts. It's about the same as it is in America. But yeah, I would consider buying some of these. I think this card's going to be pretty good for a while. And I do think Smoker, if Smoker is good, I do foresee this playing a part in that deck. And my last tip is just OP08 in general. I think these prices are crazy low. I mean, you look at these SRs. Like, we're not going to look at the alts, although some of the alts are pretty cheap actually. Like, if we go back to page 1 here, we've got these SPs are overpriced in my opinion. They're very expensive. They're SPs. It is what it is. The leaders are all really cheap, but the leaders are all pretty bad, so it's whatever. The Jackal at 23 is fine. Nami ult I think is too high personally. This Bonnie ult's okay, but this card isn't seeing a lot of play. But I do think this is a bit of a sleeper for Kid. Chopper is finally dropping. Kaido at 10 is pretty good. Lilin at 20 I don't think is very good at all. Then if we hop back to page 2 for the regular SRs and the rest of the alts, this is seeing playing nothing anymore. I don't think this probably ever will, unless we get a leader that similar to RP Law. This Ace is bad. This Lilin and Kaido is hideous. I would avoid this at all costs. This is one of the most ugly ults I've ever seen in my life. This S-Snake's okay. I feel like a boa collector. For $8 isn't too bad, but this isn't seeing a lot of play. $5 for Queen Searcher is fine. This card's crap. This card's also crap. $5 for a Newgate SR. It's somewhat compelling, but I don't think we're going to get any more blue Whitebeard leaders for a while. Especially ones that want to play a card like this. Chopper fell off, so this card's price is in the toilet. Nami at 4. I do think this is a good buy. This is a yellow staple. This will be a yellow staple for the foreseeable future. Pedro at 4. If you want to play Carrot, you can pick up Pedro. It's a pretty good price. Black Maria, I do think is overpriced still. The Wiper ult at $3 is crazy. I mean, I know Calgar is bad, but this is really cheap. I might pick some of these up actually. Quite interesting. Jack at 3, we've got over that. I think that's a good price. These Dons, who cares? Then at $2.50, I think is a good price. And this Secret, I think, is one of the best buys from 08. This is a Secret rare for $2.50. I know this card isn't very good at the moment, but this is pretty powerful in Lim. And again, I know Lim isn't the best leader, but we've seen they're continuing to print Lim support in set 10. Not the craziest support in the world, but it's support nonetheless. You never know when they're going to print a new card for Lim that could make the deck good. Carrot. This is a great buy for $1.50. This is a staple in Bonnie. This is also a staple in Carrot for what it's worth. Bonnie, I think, is a very good buy at 90 cents. It's less than $1. Grab a playset of this. Don't know if Kid is going to play this, but I have a sneaking suspicion he will. I mean, his whole thing... This is Yellow Kid I'm talking about. His whole thing is trashing life. And this Bonnie just gives you draw when you get rid of your opponent's life. Excuse me. This Chopper is down to under $1 because Zoro's seeing no play. You can pick this up if you want. Under $1, I think is a snap buy on pretty much any SR. Kaido, 60 cents. Definitely pick up a few of these. This is seeing playing Lucci in set 9. Deals with Tenkos Teach. Deals with things against BY Luffy. I'd at least make sure you have 2 to 3 of these for your Lucci deck. S-Snake is a tech in Vegapunk, but at 50 cents, you can't go wrong. And this SR is dog shit, but again, less than 50 cents, I'd pick this up. Any rare, I would also make sure you get a playset of every rare from this set. We've seen what some of the rare cards are doing. The fucking Sengoku Searcher is like a couple bucks. Raging Tiger's like $3. That zero cost is $4. And make sure you have playsets of all your rares. These are all like 20 cents or less. There's no reason not to just buy playsets of these once you've finished opening the sets. Of course, wait till you finish opening your packs, because you never know what you're going to pull. No point wasting money. But yeah, I mean, cards like these Who's Who's, 20 cents. Pick up a playset. Pareja, 20 cents. Like, we're probably not getting much more. So, the way that these slides are laid out. First, I've got the card that I bought. This is Monkey D. Luffy. And then I've got the price that I paid, which is here. This is in pounds and then converted to dollars. I live in the United Kingdom, so my purchases are all in pounds. And then I've just converted the exact figure to dollars, according to current market rates, for any Americans. I know a lot of my viewers are American. And then for the price now, this is the cheapest price on Card Market for the EU and UK players. And this is the cheapest price on TCG Player. This is not some weird conversion. These don't make sense if you think this is converted to dollars. But I hope that makes sense. This is TCG Player price. This is Card Market price. Where there's like one copy of a card that's way cheaper than the others, I've excluded any outliers. But this is like a good estimate of what the rough price is now, if you wanted to buy one of these. Okay, so now for the final part of the video. It's something I've not seen any other creators do. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If someone has done this, I'll give credit. But this is something I had an idea to do. I'm going to go over what I've purchased this month, and that's for the month of October. Just to give a bit of clarity on, I'm not just recommending things that I'm not buying. I'm recommending things that I'm actually buying. I'm actually putting my money there in some of the recommendations for the future. So first up, I bought this PSA 9 Luffy. I know PSA 9 is pretty low for this card. The vast majority of these came out as 10s. But this was a really good deal for Europe. As you can see, this card is incredibly expensive in Europe. This is a lot cheaper in America, always has been. Purely because you guys have more PSA subscribers. There's way more copies of this card in America. Also, the longer shipping does give greater chance for this to get damaged in the mail. So, yeah, this is PSA 9. And if you can pick up a PSA 10, I would definitely do that because the value is going to be quite a bit higher. It's really hard to get these values because some are non-graded. You've got 9s, you've got 10s out there. I've just ignored all whether they're sealed, opened, graded, non-graded for these. As you can see, I got a pretty good deal on this, £133, which is about 170 bucks. That's about the same price as it's going for in the States at the moment. But in Europe, it's a lot higher. I was pretty pleased with this deal. I'm going to keep this sealed. If I want to play it at a tournament, I might crack it. We'll see how we go. Next up, I bought a Rebecca Alt Leader. I bought this immediately when Usopp started getting cards revealed. £40, I think, was a pretty good deal. Not gone up much in Europe. It's gone up about 10 bucks in the States from what I paid for it. But I think I collect Alt Leaders is one of the things that I like to do, as you'll see on some of the future slides in this video. And I think getting this now was a smart decision, just in case the Dressrosa cards that are yet to be revealed make this a really good leader for set 10. I also picked up a couple copies of Pell because the seller had them. So these cards at the bottom that you see, I'll explain now. On Card Market, something that's really cool that you can do. You could probably do it on TCG Player as well. I don't know. I'm not an American. I've not actually bought off TCG Player. But what you can do is when you find a card that you like, so I liked this Rebecca, I add it to my cart. And then there's an option to view the seller and see what other items he's got. Then you can, or she, and then you can save on shipping. Play that 10 times fast. You can save on shipping. So I paid like 10 cents for these Pels. I don't think it's that crazy, but if I wanted to play Sanji, I'm probably going to want copies of Pell. And, you know, an SR for 10 cents, when there's no shipping, you know, you'd be crazy not to, but... Yeah, Rebecca was the main attraction here, and I think this was an okay purchase. This is kind of hedging my bets on the Usopp cards. Next up, I picked up 4 of the Super Pre-Release X-Drake. I've not put the prices here because it was pennies, and it's still pennies. Prices aren't very interesting. But I picked up 4 of this because of the new Smoker Leader. He's Navy, and this is Navy. This is one of the very few Navy cards we have. So I thought, I don't know if this is going to go in the deck. Probably not. But, you know, I figured that you might as well pick this up. This cost me, I think, less than $2 for these with shipping. With the Super Pre-Release stamp. And if this does start seeing play, Super Pre-Release one might be worth $1 here and there. Next up, I picked up a Full Art Spandam. So one other thing to mention is with Card Market, right? I live in the UK, not in mainland Europe. So shipping between European countries can be a little pricey sometimes. And shipping from mainland Europe to the UK, generally more expensive. Not always. You can sometimes get really good deals from mainland Europe to the UK, but not always. So in the UK, cards are generally slightly higher priced. There are cards that are cheaper in the UK. We have the official Bandai shops, whereas mainland Europe don't. So often when there's a big reprint, our prices drop first. But with most sets, our prices are slightly higher. So this was a good deal for the UK, not particularly a crazy deal for Europe. But the price hasn't really changed on this one. So nothing too interesting. I just wanted to bling out my Lucci deck a bit and saw a good price. Next up, I bought an Alt-Art Kaido. The price on this hasn't changed at all. This is just for my leader collection. You didn't need to know this, but I like to put every card that I actually buy in here just for clarity, so that I'm being conclusive on my purchases. If I'm transparent on what I'm buying, it's, you know, it might give me a little bit more legitimacy in some of my opinions. So I bought this. I don't think this is going to be good, don't worry, but this is just for my collection. I bought a Sengoku. This was a really good price. I got this on eBay for £8.50. That's around $11. This is really expensive in the States. Not as expensive in Europe, but this was still a really good price. This was also including shipping. You could add an extra £1 here for shipping if you wanted to. And this is like $8.50. Now it's $12. This is in 1 month. This was a really nice pickup. I like this. One Magellan, I picked him up for £1.50 on eBay. This was a cracked deal. I think this guy just had it listed at the wrong price or something, because this was already like £3-4 in the UK. But yeah, he's £4. Cheapest in Europe is about £4, and I got it for less than half of that. This shit's in Narnia in America. We went over that. I'm not gonna keep yapping. This is overpriced in America, but this was a good deal nonetheless. Got a couple eBay classics coming up. So this was 2 Jinbeis, £3 each on eBay, around $4. And this is now £6 on Card Market or $12 on TCG Player. So this was a crazy deal. I sold these immediately. I bought them for £3 each, including postage actually. And I sold them for around £6-7 on Card Market each, plus postage. So I made a good amount of money on this one, which was pretty nice. Tip to Europeans, probably Americans too, but I don't have American Card Market, so I'm not sure. Check eBay. 9 times out of 10, TCG Player or Card Market will be your best bet. But occasionally, you get cracking deals on eBay. Would big up eBay. And speaking of bigging up eBay, next up, I got an SP Gecko Moria for £40, which is a crazy deal. The cheapest is now like £60 on Card Market, and this is even higher in America. This is $88. So this was a great price. I've got this in my deck at the minute to bling it out a little bit. Only one. People really like this because the original art looks horrendous, and the tournament promo is quite expensive for what it is. But yeah, I've got this listed. If this sells for sort of around these prices, I'm taking it all day, every day. I don't think this is a good buy at these prices, but for £40, 100%, this was a mega deal. Next up, immediately after the Dressrosa stuff got revealed again, I bought a couple of these Luffys. That was really good. This will probably see play in both Usopp and Rebecca. Being able to attack active characters and have rush with Corridor Coliseum, it's really nice. I did pick up the alt, of course. The regular also shot up in price, but I just decided to pick up the alt. I paid 13 each. I got 2 of these at 13 each. That's around $17. And it's gone up by about £6 and about $8 since. Nothing too crazy, but, you know, I'm considering dropping these now at this price. I think I was going to make a couple quid here while people got in on the hype. This happens like quite often in this game. A card gets revealed, people buy out things, and then the price drops back down to where it was now. So I think I'm going to look to try and sell these at around £20 each. I think I'll be pretty pleased with that. But yep, pleased with this purchase. Next up, I bought an Alt-Art Magellan. price is irrelevant. This was just for my collection. I'm getting close to having all the O2 leaders now. All I need is Ivankov. I have all of the others, which is pretty cool. Yep, moving swiftly on. Next up, I bought a Laboon and some supplementals. The Laboon I paid around £11.75, which is about $15. Price has gone up a bit in Europe to £15, and we went over this. This has been bought out in America. This is being scalped at the minute. Don't pay $46. You should be looking to pay around, I think, $20 for this alt art. It's a very nice alt art. It's one of the best, in my opinion. I was pleased with this purchase. I needed one more Laboon for my Blackbeard list. I've got 2 of the regular and 2 of the alt now. I think that's fine. Not going to be bothering picking up any more of these alts. I think 15 is a little out of what I can justify personally. I think this is still a good price if you're in Europe and you want to pick these up for £15. I think that's reasonable. That's around $20 for the Americans. So I think for $20, £15, this is a reasonable price, but I'm not looking to spend that. However, I also picked up some supplementals. These are all pennies. The prices aren't very interesting. These aren't going to go up anytime soon. But EB, we've seen it time and time again. EB SRs, especially with Inazuma and Miss Wednesday. These are decent cards. They just don't have a good leader to take advantage of them right now. So I figured I'll pick up enough of these to make playsets. And then I've got them. If we get another Purple Baroque Works leader, we get something like a mono Purple Croc. I think Purple Baroque Works with a little bit more support could be genuinely quite good. And also Inazuma, if we get a better Blue Rev Army leader than Ivankov, I think this could be a really good card. I think this is a bit of a tip. If you're a fan of speculating, this Inazuma especially, I'd pick up a playset of this while it's like $1. Next up, I also picked up a couple of Hioris because I didn't have a playset of those, and they were pennies off the same seller. Also picked up, this was a bit of a bundle. I wanted King and Reiju for my leader collection. The prices aren't very interesting on these. Reiju's dropped a couple bucks since I bought it. King's stayed about the same. Reiju's not very good in the meta at the moment. It's kind of fell off since the last set. But this Zorojuro is the one that I want to talk about. The price hasn't changed much, as you can see. It's about the same as where it was. But I think this is a decent pickup. There is the other alt art from the tournament promos. The store regional promo, I think it is. But I think this one's quite nice. It's from 05. It's just a pretty good set. And yeah, this card's really good in decks like Black Purple Luffy, decks like Red Purple Luffy. Not so much in Purple Luffy, but the other two I think was enough to make me pick this up at £10. Especially because I could get it in conjunction with these leaders off the same seller to save a couple quid on postage. Next up, I bought an alt art Kaku. The price on this has gone down a bit. Maybe this was not a great purchase, but again, there's not many of these in the UK, and for 11, this was an okay price. I think this is a little underpriced for how good it is in Lucci at the minute, but, you know, it's not too crazy. I think this is about where it will sit for the next while. I also picked up 4 of this lore, because we're getting a new Supernova leader. I don't know if this will be good in the new lore leader, but this was like £2 each, and it's a starter deck card. These starter deck cards sometimes get silly, so I just thought I'll pick up 4 now. I don't think the price on this is going anywhere really, but if you don't have a playset and you can pick them up for a couple bucks, it's not too bad. This was just, I wanted some Fire Fist for my Marco deck, and the seller also had an Off-White, and Off-White will be good in Green Purple Dofi if that set sees play. I would pick up a playset of Off-White if you don't have them. EB, it's a rare, it's pennies. If Green Purple Dofi does start seeing play, this will probably go up to a few dollars each. I'd pick up a playset of this. It's not worth anything at the minute, and there's no guarantee that it will be, but, you know, EB, you never know. Next up, I picked up a Chopper leader for my collection, and also picked up one of these Kaidos. This was less than $1. This is still less than $1. Pick up a couple of these. Don't think you'll ever need 4 of this, but I'd pick up at least 2 of this guy for your Lucci deck. Price isn't going to go anywhere, but you might as well. Next up, I picked up 4 Resonante. This is what I'm talking about, putting my money where my mouth is. I think Resonante is a great buy. So I bought 4 of them. Bought 4 alts. Got these all off one seller from Spain. Worked out better than buying them from the UK with the cheaper postage. This alt's really nice. Really like this alt. Not in PRB. Gonna stay good in Bonnie. Potentially good in Smoker. And I paid £16 each for these, which is just over $20. And these are about the same price. They've increased a tiny amount. Nothing to write home about, but I think this is one to watch. So there you go. I've recommended buying this, and I've also bought this. Daz Bones, again, another one that I would recommend buying that I've bought myself. Paid £5 for my Daz Bones. You can get them for 4 from Europe, but with the postage, this was the cheapest I could get them at the time. I still think this is a really good price. I think this is a very good price. This is a good card in buggy. Price in America is slightly higher than in Europe, but nothing to write home about. But yeah, Daz Bones is very high on my list to watch. I also picked up a copy of the Alt Art Red Uta. This was like £5, and this is for my collection. This is one of the worst. This is probably the worst leader in the game. This is not anything speculative. I just wanted the alt for my collection. Next up, picked up 3 Rayleighs. Price hasn't changed at all. This was just last week. I picked these up. Finally bit the bullet. I was hoping they'd drop to around £15 each. I don't think it's going to happen. So I picked these up. I'm planning on playing Shanks next set. I already have my playset of the other 10-cost Shanks. I would have put him in the video, but we've kind of missed the boat on that one. That's already quite high. Pick up the SR if you don't have it. The 10-cost Shanks from 06. But anyway, back to Rayleigh. Yep, Rayleigh's are a great buy at this sort of price, I think, at this point. Don't see him dropping very much anymore. Maybe a couple pounds, maybe a couple dollars. But this isn't falling off anytime soon. If you're planning on playing Shanks, I'd look to try and pick these up sooner than later. Next up, I picked up a Cardo and Linlin. A little bit of a whiff on this one. I paid £4.50, but I did get this as part of a postage deal with the Rayleighs. Just wanted to put this on a separate slide, so I didn't pay postage on this order. It wasn't too bad. This is really cheap in America. If you're in America, $2, that's crazy. Because you got to remember, £3 is around $4. So this is like half the price in America as it is in Europe. If you're in America, I'd pick up a playset of this like immediately. This is a secret rare. $2. Like, I know the effect isn't that good, but it could be. And for $2, that's crazy. Anyway, but perhaps a bit of a whiff on this one. It's dropped a little bit since I bought it, but like I say, it was included in the postage, so it is what it is. Also, I picked up a Newgate. This was like 20 pence and included with the order with the Rayleigh and the Linlins. Picked up my Jack for my Jack deck. This is slightly over the odds, but again, UK postage, cheaper than EU postage. This was the best price I can get at the time. It's dropped a little bit since then. It's also cheaper in the States, but I needed a third Jack for my Lucci deck, and I figured I may as well pick up the alt. And that's it for this collection. That's all the cards that I bought this month. Let's jump back to the PowerPoint. The alts in particular are pretty good. I would avoid the alt of this because this is horrible. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, let me know. Let me know what you think of the end section where I go over what I've been buying. If you think that's helpful, if you think that's superfluous, let me know in the comments. I'll be very interested in your opinions on that in particular. I've not seen many other people doing that, so I wonder what your viewers would think of something like that. But without further ado, thank you very much for watching. If you do enjoy, please hit sub. Next video is probably going to be either buggy gameplay or an overview of the PRB set. And thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.